Hey everyone, this is Kevin from the chesswebsite.com, and if you're looking for chess openings that you need to be looking at 2023, you have come to the right place. I have a mix of openings as white, as black, but these are going to be fun as well as competitive openings that you need to make sure that you study up on. All of these chess openings, we have specific videos already dedicated to go much deeper. This video is going to go high level to make sure you understand what these chess openings are and some of the high level concepts. But if you do want to dig deeper, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, as well as you can join our membership site at thechesswebsite.com. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our list of the 7 chess openings you need to be studying for 2023. Coming in at number 7 is a fan favorite. It's one of the most popular aggressive openings, and that is the fried liver attack. Starts out with e4, e5, and then after knight f3, knight c6, then bishop c4. Getting a light square bishop involved into the game, preparing to castle on the king side, and also attacking this f7 square. The f7 square for black is the weakest square early on in the game because the king is the only piece attacking it. Now, pretty common for black is to play knight f6. Usually want to get your knights developed into the game, and you can see after they get their dark square bishop involved into the game, they can castle on the king side. But white is going to look to immediately attack that weakened square on f7 and play knight to g5. So the bishop and the knight are both attacking this pawn on f7. It can be very difficult for black to hold on to this. A lot of variations that you can get into from black. Many of them involve white just chasing the king around the board. So if you're looking for something and you like to play this pawn e4, and you usually end up with pawn e5, knight f3, knight c6, definitely look at the fried liver attack. Coming in at number 6, we have the French defense. Now, if you're thinking, I don't want to play the French defense, have no fear. This is more about attacking the French defense and understanding what weapons you have to turn what I think is one of the more boring openings in chess for black and turn it into an exciting way that white can attack their opponent. So if you play e4, your opponent plays e6, and you think this is going to be a bummer, they're playing the French defense, there is an entire repertoire that you have to attack the French defense. One of my favorites is the Orthodox Gambit, which starts with c4. So if they continue with d5, we take, and then after they take on d5, we bring our queen to b3. You can see very different than any other French defense you have typically seen. So if you're thinking about improving your e4 opening, you need to make sure that you have weapons against the French defense. So study up on that because there's a lot of new, innovative ways that you can attack it. We have lots of videos that cover all of these variations to get you prepared to attack the French defense. Coming in at number 5, we have a solid defense from black that I don't think gets played nearly enough, and that is the Caro-Kann. After e4, the popular opening from white, black can play the move c6. Now, white's usually going to continue with d4. Makes sense, controlling the center of the board, but then black can counterattack with d5. You can either have white push forward with e5 or the main line knight c3. There's an exchange in the center of the board, and then bishop f5. But understanding how black can continue, and it really puts white in a different situation than how they normally like to play in their e4 opening. So definitely make sure that you have the Caro-Kann on your list for 2023. Coming in at number 4, we have my all-time favorite opening, and that is the King's Gambit. Starts out with e4, e5, and then pawn f4, giving up material on the f4 square. And after the pawn takes, white has a ton of options as far as how they want to attack their opponent. We have 10 specific videos on how white can continue in this position, and there are some fantastic ways that white can respond. So I'd highly recommend checking out the King's Gambit, diving into some of those variations that you feel are going to best suit your game. And that's definitely going to set you up for a fun and competitive 2023. Coming in at number 3 on the list is the most aggressive chess opening on the list. And it's my favorite way to attack e4. After e5 and they play knight f3, the most common line for white, we play the Latvian Gambit with pawn f5. Now, I don't want to give too many spoilers on this. There's a dedicated video we've created just for the Latvian Gambit if you want to dig deeper into that. But needless to say, this is a very aggressive line with crazy sacrifices, and it usually ends up with white being on the defensive, which is not what they are used to doing after they play e4, knight f3. So if it's not already on your list, make sure that you have the Latvian Gambit on your chess openings list for 2023. Coming in at number 2, we have the Petrov Defense. After e4, e5, knight f3, we play knight f6. Now, they're typically going to take here, and black has a few options. One, you can play the main line of d6, forcing the knight to come back here. I think it's important to understand some of the basics of the Petrov Defense after d6, but then you can start to get into some more adventurous lines, one of which being the Stafford Gambit with knight to c6. The knight takes here, pawn takes on c6, and you can see this opens up the world for black. Both the bishops are now activated. The queen can get involved into the game. And so yes, white is up a pawn in material, but black has a lot going for them in the attacking sense. So definitely check out the Petrov Defense. It is a fun and creative way that you can attack this e4 knight f3 opening from white. Coming in at number 1, we have the Sicilian Defense Dragon Variations. The Sicilian being one of the most popular openings in all of chess after e4, c5 from black. It's also extremely aggressive depending on what variations you play. And the 3 dragon variations allow you to change up how you want to play based on your opponent and based on how you're feeling that day. One, you have the typical dragon variation, which after knight f3, you play d6. Then they play d4, you exchange, and then after knight takes on d4, you play knight f6, knight c3, and then pawn g6. Now, you could say, I want to try the accelerated dragon, and instead of playing the d6 move, instead you bring out your knight to c6 first, and then after they play d4, we still have the same exchange, but now we play g6. And then once you get more familiar with that, you can get into the hyper-accelerated dragon, which says we're not even going to play our knight to c6 first. Instead, we're going to skip all those steps and play pawn g6, preparing to fianchetto our bishop to g7. So those are the top 7 chess openings I recommend you study in 2023. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. It has a ton of content just like this where we go deeper into the chess openings so you really understand how you can play each of these effectively. Also, if you haven't become a member at thechesswebsite.com, there's a lot of exclusive content that goes even deeper into the openings, the tactics, the strategy, to get you better at chess. Definitely check that out. Even beyond the YouTube channel, I think you'll find a lot of value there. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll see you guys next time.